And Senator Stephens, you are recognized to explain Senate Bill 1200.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I do it from here? You want me from the podium?
You're fine where you are.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, Senate Bill 1200 is a trigger bill. After it was passed, it would require the passage of the Sunshine Protection Act through Congress to allow us to lock the clock on DST along with 19 other states. Members, I conducted
There's due pass by Senator Rogers.
Members, I conducted an interim study on this in 2021, and the benefits of locking the clock on DST are astounding. The citizens of Oklahoma have spoken loudly. According to every poll I've seen, they have polled overwhelmingly in support of stopping the clock. So locking the clock on DST would improve the overall quality of life, have positive outcomes for our health and our mental health, reduce crimes. Robberies specifically would decrease by 27%. It would be a catalyst for a robust economic shot in the arm for small businesses and large businesses alike. In fact, it would have positive effects on tourism and agritourism. Locking the clock actually affects public safety, both on the highways and in the workplace. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would like to yield for questions.
Are there questions? Senator Jech, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you running this bill, Senator. So the feedback I get from my district is whichever way we go, let's just don't change it. So your comment about locking the clock, I think that has the most support that I hear. So I guess my question is, we are on, until sometime in March, we're on standard time. Is that correct?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that is correct. March 10th, 2024.
Mr. Chair.
Follow up.
And about 3/4 of the year, we're on daylight savings time. Is that correct? So from November to March is when we're on standard time?
Thank you for the question. Be specific about your question. There's 127 days that we're on standard time. There's 238 days that we're on daylight saving time, which we're going to on March 10th when we advance the clocks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as I was driving in this morning, I was thinking about your bill. So it was about 7 o'clock, and it was very dark at 7 o'clock. So I'm thinking, okay, if this passes, it's going to be very dark at 8:30. So I guess that's my concern. You've heard those negatives. I really love my evenings in the summertime when it's daylight for a long time. So I guess that's where you get to the tourism part of it. But my concern is, and you've heard this before, Senator, school kids getting on the bus when it's really early, when it's really dark, and they're going to start their school day when it's really dark. So how would you address that?
The way I'd address that is pretty simple, a little bit complicated. At the same time, I will say there's we know as dawn and dusk, and civil twilight is what we refer to that as. And so that's the time of the day when you can actually see objects and things start becoming visible. And there's 30 minutes before the sunrise. So the 8:30 is really not accurate. And the 7 o'clock, I'd have to look it up. I was up early this morning. I didn't recognize what time it got daylight. But I've got a time and date app on my phone that I could certainly scroll to and see what that is. So as far as I think your question, clarify if you don't mind, but is your question about the loss of daylight, a concern for public safety?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that is my concern, public safety, and just, I guess kids, I don't know how many kids walk to school these days, but the ones that are, it's certainly going to be dark if this goes into changing. So that would be my answer to that question. So one more follow-up. I know this is a trigger bill. Do you see any momentum from Washington that they may change this to make, and I don't know how many other states have trigger bills, but do you feel any momentum? Because people may see this bill, if it passes today, well, great, we're going to be daylight savings time, but I think part of the messaging needs to be, no, we didn't make that decision. This will be in place if the feds make their change on their end. So do you see anything happening as far as they're concerned?
Thank you for the question. Actually, if you don't mind me going back and making some clarifications for you on the public safety issue on the mornings, there's data that supports, study that supports the fact that moving to daylight saving time is what this bill does, would actually improve public safety on our highways, in our workplaces, as much as 1.7% on our highways. If we were to lock this clock, to your point about your constituents in your district, because I hear the same thing all over the state of Oklahoma, this is near and dear my heart, we've got to do this the right way. People don't care how we lock the clock as long as we stop it from moving. So we've got to do this the right way, in my opinion. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm so passionate about this. So if we go to lock the clock on standard time the other way, that it would increase crashes on the highway as much as 3.5%. So that's just talking about for public safety. The economic value of it, so many other things. I'm sorry, I want to answer your second question. Would you mind repeating that, please?
Of course. No, so that was just, it's a trigger bill, so to change the way you're proposing in this bill would require the federal government to change things. So I guess I could ask the second part. So if we locked it in on standard time, would that also require them to do something on the federal end?
Thank you for the question. So the first part of your question earlier on the momentum, yes, sir. This bill was the Daylight Saving Time Sunshine Protection Act began in 2018. Since then, 19 states have jumped on that bandwagon to lock the clock on daylight saving time. In answer to your question about standard time, no, sir. We do not have to have Congress's blessings to have a train wreck here in the state of Oklahoma. We can do it right now without their permission. We can lock the clock. So, I believe wholeheartedly that if this was the right course of action, if this is the road that we wanted to go down, why would 19 other states be pushing legislation that they can't get across the finish line without Congress? And I'll answer that rhetorical question for myself. It's because it's the right thing to do. There's so many things, so many benefits of locking the clock on daylight saving time.
Senator Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So would these 19 states be further to the east where their sunrise would be earlier?
Thank you for the question. They're scattered out throughout the United States.
Follow up.
Thank you. So have you talked to the construction industry about this?
Thank you for the question. I actually have some data showing, I've heard that there's some construction industry has came out against it, or I've heard that, but I also have data that also supports the fact that it improves their safety. And also, if you look at that, Senator, when you're looking at locking the clock on standard time, you're looking at 238 days that you lose 1 hour of sunlight in the evening, and you move it down. All we're doing is managing the clock here. Move that down to the early morning. Instead of it getting daylight at 5:30 in the morning, it's going to get daylight at 4:30 in the morning. Your construction crews can't go on site in most places, especially metropolitan areas, because of noise pollution.
Follow up.
Thank you. And where is the ag community on this?
Thank you for the question. American farmers and ranchers endorse this legislation, and I spend a lot of time with our ag community here in the state of Oklahoma. This increases agritourism greatly, and it's a huge benefit to our state. And I would like to follow up with one other thing, Senator Jech, in terms of the momentum and where we're at right now on this legislation. In 2022, the Sunshine Protection Act came before the United States Senate and was passed unanimously. It was sent over to the House, and the Speaker at the time would not give it a hearing. And so we all know that there's strength in numbers. If Oklahoma can't be a top 10 in leadership on this particular subject, we can at least be state number 20. And when we get to the magical number of 26 states, in my strong opinion, we have now tilted that scale over to where more states want daylight saving time locked in that don't want it, which I think puts more pressure on Congress to hear this bill.
Will there be additional questions? Any additional questions? We have a due pass from Senator Rogers. And a second from Senator Jech. Will there be debate? Would you like to close debate? He waves. All right then. The vote will now occur on Senate Bill 1200. Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Alvord. Aye. Senator Green. Aye. Senator Hamilton. Aye. Senator Jech. Aye. Senator Paxton. Aye. Senator Rogers. Aye. Senator Young. Aye. Senator Hall. Aye. Senator Kidd.
Aye.
6 ayes, 3 nays.
Having received 6 ayes and how many nays? 3 nays. 3 nays. I declare Senate Bill 1200 to have passed. Thank you, Senator Stephens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.